All right. So this is this is my Yakuza tier list. Uh yeah. This is my opinion of the games. We'll start with this one. This one goes up here, and this one goes here, and this one goes here, and this one goes here. This one goes here, this one goes here, and this one goes here. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye. All right, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm just messing with I'm just kidding. All right. So this, of course, I love all the games, but it wouldn't be much of a tier list if everything was in the same tier, right? So I gotta rank them. I gotta rank them for the sake of the tier list. Basically, this is only the mainline games because I'm on PC and the other ones aren't out on PC, unfortunately. So yeah, once again, this is my own opinion. So yeah, uh, so zero I think goes over here because I love the game. I love everything about it, of course, just like every other Yakuza game, but it didn't go up here. I mean the soundtrack was fire, everything about it was fire. Soundtrack was fire, characters were fire. Kuryu's origin story, how he became the Dragon of Dojima. It's just that in my opinion, I wasn't really I mean and Kuze, of course. Kuze, you can't forget Kuze. But I wasn't really a fan of the style switching. I know, controversial opinion. I wasn't that big of a fan of the style switching. And I think while the story is amazing as always, I think the other stories were a little better in my opinion. And Kiwami goes up here because I loved the story of it. I loved Nishiki in this one and how he became the villain. I love the final fight. The final fight was sick. Oh yeah, speaking of that, the final fight for Zero, I think wasn't it didn't feel like I mean it did feel like a final fight, but I think the other one I don't think it was as good as like Kiwami for example, right? But yeah, the final fight in Kiwami, I'm talking about the Nishiki fight, not the other one with the guns and the guards. The Nishiki fight, the final showdown with Kuryu, that was sick. And the finale where Nishiki redeems himself. That was that was so sad, but it was so sick as well. It was badass. Uh, Kiwami Kiwami 2, I'll put up here as well, just because of the sound, just because for the same reason as Kiwami. Like, once again, the soundtrack, I liked the soundtrack in this one, especially in the final Ryuji fight. It was so sad. Ryuji was great as a character. Ryuji was great. Ryuji was amazing. I loved him. He was great. And Kuryu was great as always as well. Um, Yakuza, and Kaoru was great too, and the whole the Jingwan Mafia, that was that was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty cool. Um, let's see, Yakuza 3, I think I'm gonna put here because the story was great. It was nice seeing Kuryu in a happy place. It was nice seeing him like genuinely happy. But the gameplay was definitely on the weaker side, like of the Yakuza games, for sure. It was it was playing it. You were going to Block City. Let's just put it that way. You would just the AI blocking. I mean, it was easy enough to counter, but it was just annoying. And some of the boss fights were more tedious than difficult. But as always, the story was amazing and the soundtrack was amazing. Mine was a great villain. Oh yeah, I forgot to bring it up for zero as well. The four pillars were great. Wait, no, they weren't called the four pillars. Anyways, the lieutenants, the lieutenants were great. Right. I think Kuze was my favorite lieutenant, of course. Yeah, back to three. Um, yeah, three. Mine was great, and the soundtrack was amazing. It's just that the gameplay was so like was so weak in my opinion. But and also the movement switching from since I played on PC, of course, so I didn't play the original one and two. I played Kiwami. Switching from Kiwami 2 to 3 was the most like it was the worst transition ever. Because I went from 2, the Dragon Engine, which is great, to like 3, which is just the base game but remastered, basically, right? And it was just like it was so jarring, I guess, right? Right. I thought it took me a while to get used to that transition, and it definitely didn't feel as polished as 4 or 5 either. But I mean, as always, the story was great. Yakuza 4 and 5, I'm gonna put man, I just want to put everything on S tier. I just want to put everything on S tier, but I'm gonna be completely honest. Everything just goes on S tier in my opinion, but this is a tier list, so I have to make it an actual tier. Yakuza 4 was here. Yakuza 4 was great. The soundtrack was amazing. And the opening, I love the opening song or the OP for it, for Faith. It was great. It's my favorite OP in the entire Yakuza series, to be honest. My favorite opening song. It was amazing. I loved it. For Faith. And the opening cinematic that went along with it was great. And I love the whole four protagonist thing that they had going on for that one too. It was great. Tanimura's story was a little bit. It was the weakest one out of the four. It was still great, but it was definitely the weakest one out of the four for sure. And meeting Akiyama for the first time was great. Meeting Saijun for the first time was great. Returning to Kuryu is was great as always. Yakuza 5 goes. Yakuza 5 goes here as well. I want to put it up here, but well, yeah, I'll put it up here. I'll put it up here. I liked Yakuza 5 was great. Akiyama was great returning to. Saijima and Kuryu were great as always. Haruka and Shinada was Shinada. His moveset was pretty unique. It was like it was entirely weapon based, but I never actually used any weapons because I don't play Yakuza that way. But his moveset was great. His Haruka's idol her idol story was great. It got a little, I mean, the songs got a little repetitive because it was like the same like three songs, but I mean, I didn't mind them personally. I know a couple of people who got like really annoyed at that because like she only got like three songs, but overall it was pretty good. I liked it. It was a unique change from what Yakuza's usually about, right? Yakuza 6 I think goes here. I purely because like it was a great finale for Kiryu's story, and the finale was fire. Actually, it was so good. It was so good when he had when Kiryu and Nagumo were going to rescue Haruka, or no, when they're going to confront what's his name what's his name you the CEO of Iwami, that's his name, Iwami, right? When they're going to confront him, and then he captured Haruka, and then the finale when Kuryu and Naguma gets rescued by the gang, that was great. I want to put it up here, but there were gameplay aspects that I didn't really like. Other than that, it should go up here, but story wise, it should go up here. Story wise, all of them should go up to S tier, technically speaking. But yeah, so but anyways, Haruka was great. I mean, Kuryu. The finale when Kuryu when he's like, now there's nothing holding me back. That was sick. That was sick. Kuryu was just so badass in this entire thing. To be honest, yeah. And the one where he goes to meet the Tojo clan, and he's like, if you ever touch me or my family again, I'll burn you all to the ground. That was sick. I know that's not exactly what he said, but he said something similar. Like a Dragon goes. I think Like a Dragon goes up here. To be honest, I don't know. I'll put it down here. I think it goes here. I think it goes here. Mainly because I'm not like I prefer. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the gameplay parts of six. I forgot to talk about the rest of six. The gameplay parts I didn't like about six. Let's see. I didn't like that the map in Camarocho was cut off. Like, I didn't like that Camarocho Hills was not part of the game at all. Like they had it closed off. Like in the game, it's for construction purposes, but I feel like they were just in a rush, so they cut it off, I guess. But yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't. I wanted to explore what Camarocha Hills looked like now, but I guess we that's not happening. I did like, however, going into the cafeteria thing where in the Camarocha where you do your clan creator. I liked that part of the map was accessible, but I didn't like that Camarocha Hills was accessible. If I had to pick between one of the two, I would have preferred to go to Camarocha Hills instead. Yeah. But yeah, and the other city, Onomichi, was great. Was I like the baseball mini game, but I feel like that city, Onomichi, didn't have much to do in it, like other than like the sub stories and the main stories, of course. But mini game wise, like other content wise, Kamurocho kind of had all the content, and Onomichi had like three mini games. And one of the mini games you couldn't even do because you already finished it, like the bar chatting one. You couldn't do that anymore after you finished it, like all the way. So yeah, yeah. Anyways, for six, I mean for seven, like Yakuza Like a Dragon. That's the one with the new protagonist, the new cast. New everything, new town even. I liked the new city. The new city was great. I loved it. What was it called again? It started with the Y. It started with the Y. Yokohama. Yokohama was great. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Ichi was a pretty good new protagonist actually. I genuinely thought he was just gonna be like Kuryu 2.0 essentially, but he wasn't. He's his own character. He's he's his own man. He's not Kuryu 2.0, which is nice because there can only be one dragon. But yeah, I liked that he didn't solo everything. I liked that in that he had a really distinct difference to Kuryu in how he handled things. Like he's more willing, and I liked how trusting he was. Like some of the stuff that happened to Ichi in Like a Dragon, like if it happened to Kuryu, for example, or Saejima or Akiyama, if it happened to any of them, the game would have gone way different because they would have never accepted Nanba back into the group, for example, after what happened. I don't think they would have accepted Nanba back into the group, but because it happened with Ichi easily, I mean not he easily accepted him back into the group because that's who he is. He's just a trusting guy. And I like the Easter eggs that they put, like the bartender being Kashiwagi, for example, in the Survive bar. That was great. That was a nice little Easter egg. and the pound mate summons were really nice to watch. Were really cool. Daigo's was great. Daigo's was great. Kuryu's was great. Majima's was great. Saijima's was great. All the pound mate summons, like they were they were close to what that character is like as a person, or they either that or they were close to what they did in the previous games. Like Saijima's and like he came out of the sewer because that's part of his like his gameplay. Like he walks around the sewers because he was avoiding police in the previous games, right? So in his Poundley summons, he comes out of the sewer, and Kuryu's is challenging everybody by himself because that's who Kuryu is. Kuryu does stuff by himself because he's that's who he is, and he's strong enough to do that. Daigo's being the leader of the Tojo, I don't need to explain that one. Majima is a psychopath, so his is leaping off a building with a bunch of knives, of course. Let's see. Um, what's his name? That dude that appeared in 5. I forgot his name. Anyways, if I remember his name, I'll put it in the description. But I mean, I'll put his name in the description later. But his was pretty cool too. Yeah. Let's see. And the gameplay, the transition from brawler style gameplay to turn based. I genuinely thought the turn based was gonna ruin the whole game. But you know what? It actually made it better, to be honest, because they incorporated the turn based into Ichi's character. Like that was pretty cool. I like that they did that. I thought it was just gonna be like, oh yeah, it's turn based for the sake of being turn based, but no, it's actually part of who he is as a person, and how he views the world. Like he views everything as like a Dragon Quest style. He views all the fights as like a Dragon Quest style fight, right? And I like that. I like that it's part of his character that the turn based stuff is. And the Easter eggs, the appearances from the previous cast, from the previous main cast of the previous games was was sick. All of their returns was so cool, especially Kuryu's. Especially Kuryu's. Kuryu's got me fanboying, and Majima's and Saijima's was sick. And their combo move was devastating in the game. Actually, their combo move, I didn't expect them to have a combo move like that. But yeah, and the class system was nice. Although I did keep Ichi as the main, as the default. I think I kept most of them as their default class. I didn't. The only one I changed was Saiko's one. I changed it to Matriarch because I bought the DLC for that. But yeah, the business mini game was nice. It got a little repetitive, I'm gonna be honest, which is uh yeah, that one got a little repetitive. Like, cause like at some point I was just trying to like get enough money to like do other stuff. But the board meetings were really fun at first, but then they got like, as I got later and later into the game, it got more and more repetitive. Cause like I was basically doing like the same thing with the same board members, basically. Like I would change like a couple of them, but like it didn't really matter that much. And the dungeon system was nice though. The dungeon system was nice. I like that. And Kamurocho Tower, the Millennium Tower being like a final dungeon type of style was nice. It was actually really nice. Going through more of the tower than just like the top floor, like in the previous games. 'Cause in the previous games, we would go through like maybe like mainly stuff would happen at the top floor, basically. But in Like a Dragon, we went through more than like one or two floors, right? It was nice. And the rest, the people around Ichiban were nice too. Nanba's return got me tearing up when Nanba came back for the save. That was sick. Anyways, this is my Yakuza tier list. You know, Yakuza 1, 2, 5 at the top, S tier, Yakuza 0, Yakuza 0, 4, 6, and Like a Dragon A, Yakuza 3 B tier. I wanted to do this, but I couldn't bring myself to put the Yakuza games any lower. I just love them too much. I can't bring myself to put them anywhere below B. Anyways, this is my tier list. Thanks for watching. Bye.